Welcome to Study Loop.
Okay, so for this question, we're asked to state which of the following biomes is the rarest on Earth. And, well, it actually asks for the rarest on Earth out of all biomes, terrestrial and aquatic. But we are given four options. So that means that the rarest of all biomes is one of these four. And let's say, you know, this information is given in the chapter, but you just can't remember it. What's the best way to parse which one of these might be rarer than all the others? Well, the way I kind of thought of this is to actually picture the Earth like itself as a globe or a map or what have you. And this is my Earth. It's not fully an accurate Earth, but it is my Earth. Um, I did it this way so we can sort of see color-coded regions for each of the four biomes. For instance, let's start out with the first one, oceans. Oceans are like the areas in blue, and if you think about like a map or a globe, um, the amount of sort of surface area that oceans take up pretty much rivals that of the terrestrial, like all terrestrial biomes. So I think it's fairly safe to say that oceans are not going to be rare. Because again, I'd say they're definitely more abundant than grasslands or tundra, which are, part of a terrestrial biome. But oceans are by and large, take up most of the aquatic biomes on Earth. Uh, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's move on to our two terrestrial biomes listed here. We have the grasslands and the tundra. Now, grasslands are, well, the name kind of gives it away. Land, like it's a biome that is dominated by grasses. Usually occurs in temperate climates. Uh, the biggest example that you might be familiar with are the plains in North America or the the steppes in Eurasia. So there are plains that cover North America that cross Europe into Asia. There are plains all over the continent of Africa and in Asia. So grasslands actually do take up quite a bit of space. Um, in fact, they are probably one of the larger of the terrestrial biomes, like across the whole world. And so I would highly doubt that they would be the rarest on Earth. Next, we have, these two might seem a little bit trickier because we have tundra and we have freshwaters. So the tundra is basically very arid, um, cold land where the soil is frozen almost permanently. Found typically like in the most northern latitudes, like in northern Canada and Russia, getting closer to the North Pole and Alaska. They're basically like an extremely cold desert. Um, if you want to if that conjures up the image of a tundra for you. Um, and while it is confined to a certain latitudinal region on Earth, um, this is a fairly not massive section of land area, but it is a fairly large area. And in fact, if we turn to freshwater, so let's think about what freshwater biomes are. We have lakes, we have rivers, like things that have just fresh water in them. And there are pretty large lakes and rivers. I have the Great Lakes, Mississippi River. There's the Amazon, the Danube, the Nile. There are large freshwater uh, regions on Earth. Um, but think about their size relative to, say, the North Pole or the entire area north of this latitudinal line. Think about their size relative to grasslands or oceans or to pretty much any biome that you can think of. They're actually, in terms of the total area they take up on Earth, pretty small. In fact, freshwater biomes are the rarest on Earth. There's actually a figure in your textbook that states that freshwater biomes only take up 1.8% of all area on Earth. And again, if you couldn't remember this figure, you do have this like sort of visualization at your hands. Um, but this is also important when keeping in mind the importance of fresh water to pretty much all life on Earth, at least those living in like terrestrial biomes. The fact that there is such a limited amount and how much this amount relies on a sustainable and healthy water cycle in order to maintain all of life on Earth. But that is for a later section in this chapter. All we need to know right now is that our answer is B, freshwater.